Mario Kart World just released, and within it we can see that there was a clear and conscious effort to make a unified world for the Mario series. This has been an ongoing motif in the Mario Kart games since series producer Kosuke Yabuki took over as director in Mario Kart 7. There has been a conscious effort for consistency across games in details like the fake brands and adverts, and certain characters being associated with certain biomes, like Rosalina and Ice or Koopa Troopa and Beaches. With so many characters and the necessity to make so many varied locations for these characters to race through, it makes sense that the team behind it would try to ensure some consistency so that every track doesn't feel like some alternative version of the Mario series, especially in World with its interconnected map. But the team hasn't just been making it up as they go along. They look towards the main series for inspiration and ensure that it all sticks to the canon of the Mario franchise. Peach will always have her castle surrounded by rolling plains and mushroom homes, Bowser will always have his lava-filled fortresses, and the Bros will always have a regular generic racing circuit to drive along. That brings us to Princess Daisy, the subject of this video. Daisy has 3 tracks to her name: Daisy Cruiser, a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, Daisy Circuit, a coastal town at sunset, and Daisy Hills, a countryside town filled with goats. There's not much consistent theming going on here. The closest you can put to it is a feeling of warmth and summer. All 3 tracks have a summer vibe going on, whether it's the bright blue skies, or the water, or the literal sunset colour scheme of the circuit. While Mario Kart World doesn't have a course named after Daisy, it does have an entire section that is very much dedicated to her in its overworld, the Dry Desert and Shy Guy Bazaar. Both desert-themed locales are next to each other in the world map, and the latter is overseen now by a giant castle, one that is very much owned by Daisy. It has her flower iconography all over, her orange and green colour scheme is used throughout, she's unlocked in the game by racing on the Flower Cup, which goes through both locations, and she has an Oasis outfit that gives her a Disney princess interpretation of a desert princess. Think Jasmine from Aladdin. Also, the credits literally call her the Desert Princess, so it's pretty cut and dry here. And this makes sense if you look at the way Daisy is portrayed in fan culture. There are plenty of fan art and projects that associate Daisy with the desert, and it's not just because of her yellow dress and slightly darker shade of skin, especially seen in the Nintendo 64 games. Daisy originated in Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, which has Mario go to her kingdom, Sarasaland, obviously a pun on the Sahara Desert, and the first level of the game is a desert world, complete with pyramids and sphinxes. It's pretty clear that she had an Egyptian influence, which has slowly morphed into an Arabian one due to the Shy Guy influence, as Super Mario Bros. 2, their debut game, has plenty of Arabian stylings to it. Well, you're wrong. I like to call this interpretation first level syndrome. It's the reason Donkey Kong stages in Super Smash Bros. Are almost always jungles. You can't guarantee that every player will beat a game, but you can guarantee that they will see the first level. And so the iconography of that first level will colour the perception of players to that world. And the first level of Super Mario Land, the Biribito Kingdom, is a desert. And thus, many fans just associate Daisy with the desert and see her as a desert princess. But that wasn't meant to be the case at all. For starters, I lied earlier. Sarasaland is not a play on the Sahara Desert. It's named after the Portuguese word for a type of tapestry called a sarasa, and Daisy's domain is named that because it's meant to be a combination of 4 distinct kingdoms: a desert, a tropical island, an Easter island, and a China-inspired island. Daisy's actual castle doesn't sit in either of these 4, instead being a 5th island in the centre with a castle as generic as Peach's. It's kind of similar to how the Mushroom Kingdom has all these different biomes, from plains to beaches to forests to icicle mountains, and even her own desert. Except each of the kingdoms in Super Mario Land have their own rulers, and Daisy just rules over all of them. If Peach ever upgrades from Princess to Queen, then technically Daisy would upgrade from Princess to Empress instead. Or at least, that is how it was originally meant to be, but in 36 years since Sarasaland's debut, it's never been seen again, and only occasionally referenced. This absence has allowed the perception of Sarasaland to change in the community over the years, going from a tapestry of different locales to simply a desert. And it seems like Nintendo has decided in Mario Kart World that this is the right outcome. Across Daisy's domain in Mario Kart World, we can find more Super Mario Land references. Gal, the fire-breathing sphinxes found in the desert Biribito Kingdom, have statues that adorn Daisy's palace, fitting if this area is meant to be the Biribito Kingdom. But Dry Dry Desert, which has replaced its Super Mario Bros. 3 theming for a Super Mario Land one, has the enemies Toko Toko and Batadon now inhabiting it. Both are enemies from Super Mario Land, but neither were found in the Biribito Kingdom. Instead, both were residents of the Eastern Kingdom, and UFOs like those found in the Muda Kingdom can also be seen occasionally in the desert area. It seems like Nintendo decided to take elements from across Super Mario Land and put them all in the desert. At least what made sense to fit. That's why we don't see anything from the Chai Kingdom, the China-inspired area, wouldn't mesh well with the desert. And honestly, I'm all for this. It's only really the hardcore Daisy fanbase, and I know there are a lot of you out there, that really care about Daisy having all these different kingdoms under her. In the wider public's perception, she's the summery desert princess in contrast to Peach, the spring-like mushroom princess, or Rosalina, the cold space princess. I've always felt that the 4 biomes of Super Mario Land were never truly distinct enough to warrant them being different kingdoms in an empire. A desert, a tropical island, another tropical island, and a bamboo forest. You could easily combine the first 3 together, as they all have palm trees and sand, and as Sarasaland is by the ocean, any water locales can be accounted for. In contrast to this, the Chai Kingdom feels like an entirely unrelated and separate domain in its look and feel, distinctly ancient Chinese. So I've long advocated for the Chai Kingdom to be annexed and reused in a future Mario title, separate from Daisy, and just let our desert princess merge her 3 remaining kingdoms into one that matches her moniker. And I guess Nintendo has decided that as well, with how Daisy and her land has been represented in Mario Kart World. They've retconned Princess Daisy and Sarasaland from being an empress of a multi-kingdom region into being a princess on equal standing with Peach, in charge of her own singular kingdom that has a more yellowy orange feel to it, just like the princess herself. Then again, Yabuki said in a recent interview about Mario Kart World's world that we shouldn't take it as strictly canon to the mainline games. They designed this world specifically for the player to drive around it, and so that's why Peach's castle only vaguely looks like its main game appearances. They took the iconography from the mainline games and formed their own world with it. So with that in mind, maybe the whole Desert Princess thing is a one-off, a Mario Kart exclusive take on Daisy, and in the future, we'll see a game that reverts it all back to the way it was in that original Game Boy title. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But for now, I'm going to sit back and enjoy Super Mario Land, getting any kind of recognition beyond its flowery princess for the first time in nearly 4 decades.